You suck, Teddy Bears. You suck, Dusty Rose. You suck, Randy Savage. You suck, Bill Jabroni.
Yeah, mic test doesn't matter. It's a piece of sausage at this point.
You are jabroni. You cannot get the sun right. You are fucking piece of shit, no good motherfucker.
Shiki, we have a lot to talk about. You need to control yourself, all right? I know.
We're not even on the fucking air. You want to talk?
We are on the air. It is recording. The camera is on, baby.
You don't have the Shiki recording. You are fucking Oh, beat the fuck out of you.
You're just mad that Roman Reigns' reign was better than yours, all right? That's why you are upset, okay? I know you're salty. I know you don't like Hulk Hogan for 50 years. And guess what?
You are a fucking piece of shit. I wanted Roman Reigns to win so that he can beat that fucking Hollywood Blonde Jabroni record. And he could not. He cannot.
Listen,
Roman Reigns, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Shiki, listen to me. We have a
Shiki,
guest.
I saw a lot of Macho Man savages at the WrestleMania. What do you think of Macho Man?
Oh yeah, Shiki, tell us about Macho.
Macho Man, you are fucking piece of shit. No good motherfucker. You are fucking cheap. You don't even want to buy the Elizabeth a hot dog for $2. You are fucking punk. That is why she went with the fucking jabroni Luger.
Yeah, I feel like you snuck in and you made that Jake the Snake angry just so he could get Macho.
Fuck the Macho Man. A snake, no a snake. And Macho Man, you're a fucking snake. Okay, you pretend that you don't like Hulk Hogan, but you suck Hulk Hogan dick and you suck the Hulk Hogan ass.
Wow.
I'll never respect you.
I
That's
mean,
a lot of
sucking
sucking.
ass. You know, the kids are really into sucking ass now, Shiki. You predicted that. So.
That's true, Shiki. You knew about it in the 70s.
I said perfect.
Yeah, you did. You did say it perfect. Guys, I know. There's a lot of demand for the Legend of Wrestling. Listen, we're back, man, and we got a lot to talk about. It is WrestleMania post recap, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna talk all things WrestleMania. We're gonna talk Raw after Mania. We're gonna talk CM Punk. We're gonna talk about being there in person because the man you've been hearing, you know his voice. He has a familiar voice. He's been on this show before. We've made a lot of predictions on this show about this Mania that just passed, WrestleMania 40. And let's talk about it. Prateek, welcome.
Hello, Pedge. Hello, Shiki. What's going on, everybody?
That's right. What's going on is right.
Prateek, you are very intelligent wrestling fan. You know about the Sheik. You know about the Wrestlemania important cameraman. You are not like this fucking jabroni, Patch the Maniac. He don't know nothing about the Wrestlemania.
Listen, man, I'm just a jabroni. You're right. I'm over here, okay, so that you can shine. I'm doing the spot for you. All right, and
you gotta recognize the leader, you fucking punk.
Speaking of Punk, let's start there because you know he's the best in the world on that announcer's table, in the ring. Whatever he touches turns to gold.
100%.
And it happened again at Mania. So, but before we get into all of that, I want to talk to you, Prateek. You were at WrestleMania. Tell us about your entire experience, and it wasn't just WrestleMania that you were at. Tell us about what else you attended and your whole week.
Yeah, anytime you're going to these type of events, you know, I was there, I was doing some comedy stuff too. Got to do the Philly Punchline, got to do Helium Comedy. Actually got recognized at Mania by somebody who saw me at the Philly Punchline. That made my day.
That's great, man.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Not to brag that, or not to pull up that flex, but that happened. That's pretty wild. But yeah, when you go to these type of weekend events, there's people from all over the world. They're literally. I saw the Iranian flag. A bunch of fans were holding that. You see that at these arena shows. You see that at the stadium shows. People are showing their pride. They're from all over the world, and they're here converging. You know, the world is very divided now. When we watch the news, it's kind of cool to have this one big thing where people can kind of come together and drop their problems for 3 hours, 4 hours, depending how long it goes or whatever. But yeah, there was such a good international flavor in Philadelphia. It was great. And the wrestling industry as a whole converges on Philly. So you see a lot of indie shows too. It's also the city that gave birth to ECW. So there were a lot of ECW tribute shows, a lot of hardcore tribute shows. So it was something where, this year's been kind of cool. I got to go to Revolution, which was at the Greensboro Coliseum also, which is a historical venue for wrestling. So I've been trying to go to not just big events, but also, hey, let's see some cool intimate arenas. Let's see some arenas of history. So for me, one of the cool things I got to go to was the original ECW arena. It's called the 2300 Arena now. Mm-hmm. And they put on a tribute show literally at the same time as Heyman's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. They did this really cool tribute show. Funny enough, the Dudley Boys and Tommy Dreamer were in a tag. They were supposed to headline, but because of Paul opening, if you watch the Hall of Fame, Paul Heyman does not headline the Hall of Fame. He goes up first. Right. And they cut to all the Dudley Boys and Dreamer and everybody being there. So they had to leave that show early. They had to actually open that tribute show that I went to just so that they could get in time over to Wells Fargo. So it was
wow. I wonder, was that the order of the Hall of Fame inductees? What you think that was a last minute change up, or was you think that was something that was just scheduled that way and they had to just adjust?
Maybe Triple H wanted to try something new, like give the opener, give them the most attention, most time. I think I could also see Paul being like, no, I'm just a manager. I'm just a focus. Like, let me lead. I thought it was a great way to kick off the show. It was great. It was energy. You had I believe the last inductee was Liam Ivey. So you had The Rock closing the show. So you still got two big events bookending the Hall of Fame. Heyman's speech, I didn't get to watch it live because I chose to live extreme and go to the actual ECW arena. It is wild. They've definitely remodeled the place. Everybody kept saying like they remodeled it. It used to be a shithole. Like right. It looked nice. There was a cool wall right near the bathroom that had like all the signatures of like everybody signed it. It was like the classic wall. Cody signed it too because I guess Cody did an event at the 2300 arena when he was still I believe in his Ring of Honor days when he kind of had left, so it was a really cool venue. Yeah. It's and it's a bingo hall too, apparently. So again, you're performing in the bingo halls,
That is that's definitely a treasure to go to that. How many shows did you go to all in all, obviously including Mania?
Including Mania, about 6 shows.
6 shows in what? In 4 days? 5 days?
Yeah, 4 or 5 days. Yeah, it was a lot.
That is a lot, yeah. And you did comedy. So that's like
comedy as well. Yeah,
I love that, man. I love that.
Busy trip.
That's cool.
A tribute show. A Sandman was also on the tribute show. He did a couple cool moments.
Oh, way.
He didn't do a full match. Certain legends just made appearances. Certain people did matches. Shane Helms did a cool match with do you remember C.W. Anderson?
Yeah.
He showed up too.
That's cool.
Tajiri was there.
Oh, nice.
Super Crazy was there.
Okay. Just Incredible, was he there?
Just Incredible wasn't on that one. They did another show on Thursday, but we went to Bloodsport then, so we kind of again. There were like 18 different shows on Friday night at 7 between SmackDown, between the original GCW event. That was the one where like, Matt Cardona wrestled on and all, which that was a good match too. We wanted to go that, but again, you're competing, you're cannibalizing your audience. So you had that, you had the tribute show, and we were like, well, I want to go to the arena. I want to see the historical thing. That's something you can't see every year. So I decided to choose that, and I'm happy with the choice.
No, that's great. And what would you say, like, before we get into like the breakdown of the main shows, what would you say your favorite moment was?
Non-WrestleMania, basically, like of the indie shows.
All the indie shows was your favorite.
The indie shows were cool because they were smaller venues. You're getting to see, when you think of wrestling most of the time as a TV stuff, there's a huge independent scene. I think there's some really cool stuff going on in the indie scene. I encourage your viewers, listeners, like look up in your local town, whatever. There's probably a GCW event or an indie event. Like support, we want to support local comedians, rappers, support local wrestlers as well.
Right. Actually, come to think of it, now that you've mentioned it, this Saturday, there's something in my neighborhood of Chatsworth out here in California.
Oh, hell yeah.
Chatsworth Blockfest. There's going to be street wrestling there.
Okay.
Like they're going to have a wrestling ring in the middle of the street where it's blocked off. They have a WeCon. It's like a Comic-Con and all that stuff. But there's going to be independent wrestlers there. performing a couple matches. So anybody who wants to come check out some independent wrestling should come and check that out. It's free, so can't beat that.
Support the locals. They need the money.
Exactly. And you can't teach that. But yeah.
Oh, he was there. He was doing a signing.
Enzo? I saw Enzo. I mean,
a few people doing signings. Enzo, Blue Meanie was there. He had a Meanie Mania shirt in the Philadelphia file.
That's super cool, man. Did you get to interact with any of the pros, the pro wrestlers?
The pro wrestlers interacted. I kept seeing Ciampa at like all these different events. Like there's the Reading Terminal Market, which is the big Philly market. I kept seeing him there. He had his hood up, but I just kind of I kept it quick with them. Just like, hey, have a good match tomorrow. Nick Nemeth, I've seen at his comedy shows a few times. He had a few at the Comedy Store, back when I was living with you, Pedge. So he remembered me from that. I also had mentioned I would do comedy, so I talked with him a little bit at Bloodsport. Actually, it was really cool. So
how can you forget the beard?
You can't forget. You don't forget this face.
Right. Yeah.
He actually opened Bloodsport. Actually, he did the open.
Oh wow.
With Speedball Mike Bailey. Apparently Mike Bailey did like 4 shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So he had like 12 shows. He was like Samuel Bate running from show to show of wrestling.
Yeah. That's good. And then I saw also Dustin Rhodes was in the vicinity in the area. I don't know if you saw him, but
yeah, he was. I mean, well, he was there in a box seat for Cody's. I believe he was there for both nights. Yeah.
Okay, he was. So he was at Mania. Okay, cool.
I would have liked.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I would have. Part of me was like, he doesn't need to do Goldust. He doesn't need to get physical. Why can't he just hug Cody at the end of the night?
Dude, 100%. But I mean, I didn't mind Mama Rhodes holding the title at the end. That was cool.
You saw Mama Rhodes. You saw Brandy Rhodes. You saw Mama Rhodes' step husband.
Yes.
Oh, you know who you do see? You did see one AEW wrestler in the ring. -1, Brody Lee Jr. He was wearing the Nightmare hoodie. That really.
Oh, really? Wow.
Young Brody.
Wow. That's I have to watch that back to look for that more closely.
Yeah, well, hold that against Tony Khan, but that's a different subject entirely.
Yeah, we have to
stick to Mania.
Exactly, we're sticking to Mania tonight. We at the end of this episode, we wanted to just get predictions of like from what we saw, what we thought was going to happen, what did happen, and now where are we headed after this?
Where we head now? Of course.
Yeah, exactly. So. Let's start with the big one. I want to start with let's start with the main thing because everybody wants to hear about that right now. So, night 1, the main event, we had Rock Roman versus basically half of Seth Rollins, essentially, and whatever, and Cody. That match was a Bloodline Rules. Where were you in vicinity to the ring?
Yeah, on the first night I was kind of in the 200s level, and then on the second night I was in the 100 level.
Oh wow, so you weren't that far. You were pretty close. Then when they came into the audience, did they pass by your section or no?
When Seth made grand entrance on the stage. I believe it was only during night 2 where he did the Shield entrance through the audience.
Right. Yes.
But
didn't they fight into the audience a little bit?
They did fight. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about it during the match when they fought.
Yeah. Right.
No, that was the other side, unfortunately. So I did have to go a little bit to the monitor. But what I did get to see that I don't know if it cut so we went back a little bit and tried to watch on Peacock to see what was covered. They don't show Cody throwing Roman into the lettering of the stage. They cut away and then they show the end of it.
Right. Yeah, they don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas in person, because when you have multiple people kind of going around, when you're in the arena, you're not following the hard cam. You're just looking. You're just seeing what's in the ring. You don't have commentary also. That's the other.
Yes.
If there is one downside to live events, is you don't get the commentary. So you miss out on certain nuggets. You miss out. You're kind of just following the ring as you go. Which there's something fun about that. Don't get me wrong. I love that. But like. It makes for interesting stuff, whether it's the tag match, which spilled out into the arena, spilled out into stage. It made it interesting for the ladder match as well. I'm not focusing on what the hard cam is covering, so I'm seeing the other little moments here and there. So
yeah. I think that,
and I think matches were very interesting to me because I'm seeing the different perspective.
And I think that's meant for the audience that are in attendance. Like, and
In
then
attendance.
it's almost two shows simultaneously. They're putting one on for you guys, and then one for the hard camp.
I gotta say this
What's
before
wrong?
we go any further too. I think that the camera work for this year's WrestleMania was incredible. Um, a lot of the new angles that they've experimented with over the past couple of weeks. I know there's been some iffy ones I've criticized on Raw and SmackDown, but I said we were in experimental phase.
Yes.
Whatever they've been doing, they got it right at WrestleMania because they got a lot of very, very good shots from angles that normally are not captured at WrestleMania, but they got them. They got some really, really cool moments.
That's what you get when it's the Triple H era now. But yeah, it's that's the whole thing too.
They
it
made
was
it
about
a point multiple times, whether it was so Triple H kicked off the night one. He
Right,
came out,
right.
and there were multiple times during Heyman's speech. Again, not to give away anything, but like there were multiple times, whether through Heyman's speech, Stephanie's intro on night two. There's a new opening. There's a new opening crawl.
There is, yes,
Right.
and they introduced it on night one. So
I mean,
yeah,
they really
All of
want
that
you to
era.
know this. No one's touching this. This ain't Vince. Kevin Dunn's gone. Like Webb mentioned about the production stuff. That's a really good point you mentioned because yeah, there were different Kevin Dunn had the more shaky cam style, hard cam style. This one longer shots. There was some new stuff on Raw on Monday too, where they panned from the backstage back to the ring in a new way.
that's right.
I really
Yeah.
love. If you remember a couple weeks ago, because I was at the Chicago Raw when Rock did that, old school beat down in the rain. There is something very if you notice, it's a very interesting callback to old Memphis, old school wrestling, like beat downs in the alley shadow with the way the lighting was done, the way the
Right.
close up of the Rock, the way it cuts and he goes, "No, come back here, we're not done." Like these old,
Yeah.
they're doing a lot of different things, and yes, it's an experiment, so some might work, some might not. But I like that they're taking chances. This is the time.
100%. It's a great time to do that, right? Because I mean, I almost feel like from WrestleMania 40 on, it's like it's almost like a reset button on the entire company. It's like they've played with the word era and all that in the past, right? But it's like it was still the same like 5 people in charge. So now it's like legitimately like it's Paul Levesque. It's his league now, right? It's his company. It's his.
Right.
He's running the game. No pun intended. And it's legitimate. And you can see it. And I almost feel like he's earned this too, right? Like Triple H. I mean, he's had to pay his dues, both as a wrestler and then also as an exec.
Producer.
Yeah, like as the booger, he's had to always be in the shadows of, the crazy lunatic Vince McMahon.
Well, besides the shadows, he's also had to deal with the criticism of marrying into that family and that being a reflection of his work and so forth. But I think you can see now that it has nothing to do with any of that. Like he actually has a brilliant mind for the business. And now he has even better tools to work with because has given him. That's part of the reason that they're messing with this new production style. He's got different people that are now employed by the company that TKO has put in that place that have different experiences filming different things, where including UFC, to where they are able to experiment with these new angles and these shots and techniques and so forth. And he's able to have fun with it and bring his creative vision to life.
And they're not just imitating UFC camera angles. They're actually I'm not seeing the entrances on the WWE side and think, oh, this is how UFC does it. It doesn't feel like UFC at all. So that's another good thing. Like, they're not just like saying, okay, we're going to do this now. It's
Which is what the old regime liked to do. Oh, this worked with NFL. Let's just copy it completely.
Right.
Well, they updated with the times because originally what I read about for the first and second WrestleManias, even with the first one, I believe it was the second or the third one. Don't quote me on it, but Vince actually had to hire somebody else when he started to bring a different production into it when he wanted to film his WrestleManias versus what his dad had in, and that's changed over the years. So for this to be happening now, it just seems like these risks that they're taking are just a natural evolution in the business.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, 100%. So with that said, let's get into it. Let's get into the Hall of Fame. Any
Well, we were already talking about the match.
Right,
So
we were talking about the tag match at the end of night one.
Well, yeah. So let's actually get into it.
And here's the thing. I kind of want to tie it into our predictions that we made like 6-7 months ago, right?
Sure.
And it was like, we all had our ideas of what would happen by Mania. And then when Punk joined the company, we kind of made an addendum for that as well.
Yeah, you had to. A lot of addendums on this.
Yeah, a lot of addendums.
Well, we had to for this one because this was not something that was originally booked for WrestleMania until coming up on, I believe it was January when they made some of these changes. There wasn't really a tag match planned.
No. And that was
we had to make changes.
And by the way, they've done a whole like a docu series of the entire production team and the writing team and how they've had to shift once the audience started chanting Rocky sucks when he wanted to
Cody
go for
yeah,
the
exactly.
title,
They had to,
and how they had to actually shift the story to let Cody finish the story. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it might already be out, but I saw a preview of it on I think it was on Raw. They talked about Rock and Trips talking about how they're going to like backstage, how they're going to change it up, and so it was truly like chaotic at one point. Like they had no idea what Mania was going to look like because of the backlash from the fans.
And usually by Rumble, you kind of know, but in this case, they were really making changes late in the game.
Which made this a great WrestleMania.
Exactly. It did.
First time in a long time, it felt really like anything could happen.
100%. I didn't know that. No, I didn't think, both this tag match we're about to talk about. I had no idea how it was going to pan out. Right? Like we these weren't even part of our predictions 7 months ago. Like we didn't even think about any of these angles.
80% of what I thought about night one, night two's main event went right. I'll tell you the 20% that I got wrong.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's cool. I want to, and we're going to talk about that, but let's go into it. Night one, main event, tag match. We didn't talk about this prediction, but what did you think was going to happen and versus what did happen?
I had a feeling that it's Rock's first return and real return. I don't count the Eric Rowan thing from Mania 32. This is his first match in since what, Mania 29, 11 years ago, essentially.
Yeah.
He's not going to lose his first return match. I had a strong implication that, and it makes Cody's win more poetic if there are odds stacked against him, and it is a blood round rules match. Once that stipulation was announced, I'm like, they're probably going to lose night one. What kept you guessing was, I thought maybe it wouldn't be a clean win. I thought someone would get involved. At one point, I thought Drew was going to get involved.
Right.
But lo and behold, The Rock pinned Cody relatively clean in the middle of the center of the ring. You got the people's elbow, but you also got Cody, fighting and doing a rock bomb. You got that cool spot with Cody and Seth doing pedigrees. It really is Triple H. You're seeing multiple pedigrees throughout the show.
I know. I hope it doesn't become the new like super kick party. I don't want that because I feel like that diminished Shawn Michaels' finisher. But anyway,
let's not talk about the dumb fucks on this show. not on this show.
The young fucks.
We'll save that for Tony's roast.
Oh man,
counterfeit fucks.
Right. Another episode, which I want you back. We'll talk about all things AEW and everything, whatever's left of them. But
I'm going all in Wembley.
Oh really? Nice. Wow, nice. So you thought that Rock would win this match, and okay, you were right. I also thought like, and again, we didn't share these predictions pre-hand, but once they set that up, the tag match with the stipulations, I was like, yeah, they're gonna. I honestly didn't know what would happen because either route, it was intriguing. Like even if Cody and Seth did end up winning this match, I felt like that still put a lot of things in question because I felt like Roman, not first match as the tribal chief, to not have anybody interfere Like that to me was like intriguing, right? And then if that was to happen, I was thinking that Roman could still pick up the win on night 2 because no one would have given him a chance. Like, oh, he only wins because of the bloodline. So then to me, that would have really solidified his legacy as this championship run. But it didn't happen. Rock won, and Rock and Roman got the win. By the way, supreme shape, both of them. Like
very lean. Rock looked leaner than his normal boulder.
Yeah. So. Like upper chest, like a lot more pumped out than before. I feel like Rock Cena 10 years ago, he did not look like this.
No, he way more leaner. And, everybody's been saying, I have friends that work for like wrestling news sites, like Sportskeeda, for example. I have friends like, oh, they're smoke and mirrors. I'm like, smoke and mirrors, but Rock gave you, first off, the time on that match, if you look bell to bell, we're not counting intros. Yeah. Bell to bell was about 45 minutes for the night one main event. Rock gave you all he could give you in that 45 minutes, for a tag. Yes, there was some, keeping him safe, protecting him, which to me that, who gets that most credit to me is Seth. I think Seth gets a lot of credit. Should get more credit for the bumps he took both nights.
Totally. What was your thoughts on night 1 main event?
Well, when they announced that the tag match was going to happen, I didn't have any doubt that that Cody was going to lose. Cody and Seth were going to lose night 1. Mm-hmm. Where I was wrong was the manner in which the match the way that it transpired. Mm. I actually thought there was going to be turns in that match. I thought Seth would turn and The Rock would turn. I was wrong about that. They kept it
like a double turn.
But I did predict. I did predict that, and I also predicted what would happen going into night 2 with Seth getting injured and not being able to be 100% for his match with Drew McIntyre, and losing. And I predicted this. This because you were on the episode. I think Prateek. I predicted that that Damian was going to cash in on that championship, even though you insisted that he was going to
wanted Damian to cash in on Cody, but they had to do. I think it's good they did it because then you knew, like, if Damian didn't cash in, then you might be thinking he's going to show up for Cody. Yeah. So you have to.
It was great, and I even said it. I told him like a couple weeks before. Yeah, I said that. Soon as Drew McIntyre wins, he's gonna do something. CM Punk is gonna get involved. Yeah. And then as soon as they announced it, as soon as he was gonna become an announcer, I was like, okay, my theory from before, from 80%, it's 100%. He will interfere, and they'll get that cash in. Night 2 transpired exactly the way I thought it would. Okay. But I got night 1. I expected the 2 turns, which didn't happen.
Right. Yeah. I felt. I over the last final 2.5-3 weeks leading into Mania, I was like, I think Webb is right that because of how much they call them Cody crybabies. The fact that they were so adamant about Cody finishing his story, I almost felt like that would have turned into white heat if Damian cashed in on Cody, right? Yeah, he's Damian is kind of in between. He's a tweener right now as part of the Judgment Day, just like Rhea is.
Rhea Ripley, face, but you don't know. She's getting face reactions.
Like the heels in that group are, Dominic obviously, but then you got those two and
the damn Chihuahua.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, I
funny though that Rhea, we bring up Rhea because that was the opening match. She's doing all this heel stuff, attacking Betty, but going after Becky's daughter and all. But she still got in the arena. Now I don't know how it played on TV. Rhea was getting bigger reactions than Becky in the stadium.
I think she's the now, right? She's the new face as far as the women's division. And when she beat Charlotte 6 months ago, it was that's the passing of the torch right there, right? Because
now she's taking out 2 horsemen.
Yeah, horsemen, exactly. And she's never going to face all 4 because one of them is now the CEO.
Never say never in the WWE.
Come back. You never know.
That's true. That's true.
The way things are going over her right now, if she doesn't get paid, she'll be back here before you know it.
Well, the problem, we'll get into that later. But
Well, I'm just saying, never say never. We're not going to.
That's true. CM Punk is in WWE, so there you go. Yeah.
No one, and I truly believe if you want, because we didn't get to do an episode when the Punk thing happened.
Right.
I think a lot of credit beyond Triple H. You know who gets a lot of credit for Punk coming back? Nick Khan.
Oh, Nick Khan. Oh.
Yes, Nick Khan, definitely. Right. No, yeah, he's
I guess Tony Khan. Jack Perry, they get a little bit of credit, for being.
No, I was saying like Cody put in a good word for him too.
right, Cody.
Sure.
Exactly, yeah. So
how do you not have a no compete? Like he literally said in that he revealed in that MMA Hour interview.
Yeah,
He could have
Right.
joined day next. He could have brought that title probably on TV too if he wanted
Could
to.
have pulled a Lex Luger. He could have pulled a Lex Luger on WCW.
I think he cares about the business and the boys, so he's very old school that way. So I think that's why he didn't do that. But he is very like, I could do that,
Right, he could have done that, yeah. So anyway, night one main event.
We got pretty much covered night 1 and night 2's main event in a way. But,
Essentially,
but
we haven't talked much about night 2, but yeah,
the night 2's match. Yeah.
But I want to just kind of go by storyline as far.
That is a storyline.
No, I know. No, I'm saying we're doing that. So so night. I mean, essentially the bloodline was trickled in through the entire Mania, like night 1 and night 2, right? They were
the Jimmy and Jay thing as well.
Yeah, Jimmy and Jay, that had a lot of implications. I thought, and my thought was on that, like after their match, when I found out it's on night 1, I was like, after their match, I felt that Jay might turn again, right? Like with one for night 2 for the main event, like that could have been a big surprise. Jay comes in.
He's such a big face. He's getting of the reactions of the crowd. Like when you're walking through a stadium before a show, there are two big things. One is, as we know, our boy LA Knight. Yeah, that gets a big
Yeah.
And the other one is Yeet. J.O.'s he's over right now. I think maybe that's why they just did I was thinking Jimmy would win through some sort of disqualification or something, and they keep the story going. They gave him a clean win, and I think it's just because of the momentum. They're like, nope, you're destined for bigger things.
And that carries on to Raw, but we'll get to that.
Oh, by the way, you didn't like that match.
It was the least favorite of the matches of the night.
Oh, the Jimmy J, like I definitely was disappointed.
I'm not gonna say that I hated the match. I will say it was my least favorite match.
It was least favorite. It had some lulls. It felt like I truly thought
I didn't feel like it was a blood feud, which it should have felt like with a brother versus brother, animosity build. I didn't get that. I mean, it's really hard to live up to Bret Owen. But I mean, like, still, I wanted a little bit more like vitriol in the match, like
it's also the shortest match of the night. It's
How long was it from bell to
8 minutes? 8:30. 8 minutes.
Wow.
30.
Short, dude. Yeah.
Wow.
It felt like it got time cut. It felt like they were in Gorilla, and somebody's like, "Hey, we gotta go. We gotta give Rock 45 minutes." So you
right. I think that was one of those last minute swerves, probably.
But such a good the promo video to intro that match was great.
I love that. It was really well done. Yeah, I am not my brother's keeper. Yeah, that was great. I loved all of that. So anyway, so that went down the way it did, and so yeah, let's get into the main event, night 2. By the way, they billed it as Cody never left his bus after the loss on night 1. He was just in his bus, and they never heard of him, seen him until he came out.
Which is good. You don't need him to do like I was like because they showed him in the image for the press conference. I'm like, no, we don't need to hear from him until he wins. No.
Right. Did you after night 1?
What
did you predict that he was going to win the title?
I had a feeling he would win. I think you have to stack the deck. It makes more sense for the win if it's a stacked deck.
Now, speaking of stacked deck, I thought, first of all, I thought it was cleverly done. It was, and Wep and I talked about this, and he agrees. For having put in all of these superstars to come in that match and interfere, and usually that becomes kind of funky. I thought it was masterfully done, and every person who interfered had a backstory with Roman, and it was almost like I equated it to like
someone's demons coming to catch up with them.
It's demons, and it was almost like a Thanos, right, fighting all of the Marvel.
Avenger Endgame. It felt it
felt that way. Yeah,
this is the one time where I said overbooking was a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they got the time also. What I liked about the pacing of the night 2 main event is yes, I thought it was Bloodline rules, but I'm like, oh, good, they're giving Cody and Roman time alone to start off. I feel like they did almost 18 minutes to 20 minutes alone, which is good. It's the main event,
Exactly. No, and
they're probably never going to face each other again. So let's put everything out there.
Really? You don't think they're gonna face each other again?
I mean, I'm not saying no, never say never, but I don't see them.
Right.
Maybe it's their last time at Mania. Maybe do the rubber match on another event. Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in the
I feel
predictions.
like I feel like it's not gonna be their last time, but it'll be a last time on this grandest stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
They might meet each other at some point in their career again.
Yeah.
Different type of storyline, whatever, but
Maybe different, maybe
it's
reversal.
not with these stakes.
Yeah. You think okay? These are great. These are great. I'm intrigued. I can't wait to
The
make
Rock and Cody though, that might be a difference.
So that's gonna that thing on Raw that was kind of funky, which I have opinions about. But
I mean, like we said, most of the appearances they made sense.
actually, let's get into it because Mania main event. Did you predict that? You said you did.
Yeah.
That Cody would win. You
Yes.
also thought Cody
I
would win.
predicted Cody would win. I predicted there would be help.
There would be help, sure.
Yeah,
And
I
so
think we all agree with that.
I just didn't think Undertaker would come.
Yeah, that's
that was kind of
Yeah, a lot of people predicted. A lot of internet marks are like, why didn't Stone Cold come out?" But to me, there's a couple things. I think Stone Cold's very particular about what he likes to come out for. I think he wants it to be part of the story. I also think he had someone who went to 38 in Texas. He had a beautiful send off in Texas.
I just told him that like an hour ago.
Well, here's what I was thinking about Taker's return as far as bloodline and all of that is concerned. I thought Taker gave his second loss in Mania to Roman. So we got a lot of people don't talk about that because of Brock taking the first one. But he's the only two else he's had was to Roman and Brock at Mania. But that wasn't what I looked at it as. I looked at it as final boss kind of running the court backstage, and he's the new boss in town and all that.
Old boss, you know.
And Taker was the old boss in the backstage and in wrestlers court and all that, right? So it was like, to me, that was Taker saying, hey, listen, you might have the money to own this, but I'm still, I'm the big dog here. So and I thought that's where that angle kind of closed off. So that's why it made sense that Austin didn't come out. I felt like he had nothing to do with, because Austin and Rock had their history, but it wasn't about the Rock. It was about the tribal chief, right?
Exactly.
And so final boss, that wasn't an angle that I thought welcomed a Stone Cold interference.
It really didn't.
I have a different take on that.
Okay, tell me.
I mean, it's along the same lines, but it's a different take. I think that there is a part of that is obviously real with the wrestlers' court, but I think that's also only known to a lot of smart fans. So they had to bring that up for something also that would make sense for the regular fan. And the regular fan was The Rock had been trying to put over Roman all this time, even calling back to like the Royal Rumble where they first were trying to give him his push.
Yeah.
But The Undertaker showed up because usually for people who are getting the rub, The Undertaker is the gatekeeper for whoever is the next generation in line. I think that's where the final boss comes into play, where it's like, no, you don't put people over, I put people over. Like this is still my business.
Yeah.
And it's also the 40th Mania. Who has had a streak at Mania? Who's been a specter? Who's loomed over Mania for many years? It's not. That's why he didn't need to be there any more than he did. He came in quick and then left.
Right. Exactly. No, I thought. Also, the fact that he was just in almost like street clothes. He wasn't really in like Taker clothes.
He's agreed never to wear like it is some like if you notice his appearances since the retirement have been American Badass themed,
right,
or street clothes themed. Like he doesn't really want to don the Undertaker.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only thing I saw is like on a few of his like posts,
late night stuff.
Appearances, not necessarily late night stuff, but like at wrestling conventions.
Oh yeah.
If you want him to wear the Taker gear, it will cost you extra.
Oh, okay. So he's like all of us. He'll do anything for $1. Okay.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, have you looked at the guys' prices for a meet and
Oh
greet?
my God. Yeah, the meet. Apparently there's one option where you can do a shot with them, but it's like $500.
Jesus.
And you got to pay for the shot. So that's the shot's not even included.
Yeah, man. That's Yeah, but I think for the casual fans, Taker just showing up, it was just like, oh, Taker, like that's all it
Yeah,
was.
the casual and the crowd was into it. In the stadium, nobody was like, "We're Stone Cold." I heard a couple like, "Oh, maybe Austin," but no one was disappointed.
No, of course, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
People were crying.
longest lasting staple in WWE WrestleMania history.
100%. Yeah,
There's
and
also another smart connection smart mark connection a lot of people don't know. Undertaker's first match was Survivor Series in a tag match headed by Dusty Rhodes.
yes,
So Dusty kind of put it over Undertaker as like this guy. So
this
it's
is him like paying it back. Yeah, yeah.
Dusty. So that's a cool little historical. I love the smart mark Easter egg. There's Easter eggs for everybody. You know,
And I think that's there's a lot of genius in the booking of this. And the way they booked this, and obviously in the press conference afterwards, before Cody came out, Triple H had given him that Rolex watch, right? Because Dusty
they
had
wanted
pawned
him to
that
have
off
something.
for Cody to take acting classes. So that, I mean, that
Part
how
of Dusty was
that?
with him in Gorilla when he came back to the curtain. That was the point of it.
That was, I thought, yeah, man, that
Bruce
was
Pritchard like tracked down the serial number too. It's insane.
yeah. So you know that the company is behind Cody 100%. Like he's carrying this company forward.
He's the face.
Yeah, he's the face. I wanted Roman to win, and I was hoping somehow he eke it out. But as soon as I heard the 3, I couldn't help but be like stoked.
You're late.
Yeah, it was like okay, it's over, right? It was just like
when would you want Roman to lose then? If you would have won, what would have been? Because at that point, it doesn't make sense. Cody's lost 2 in a row. It doesn't make sense for him to do it now.
No, exactly. It doesn't make sense. And especially with all of these major superstars trying to help him get the win, and if he still lost, it would have just made all of that be a waste too.
Right? He said it was the selfish fan in him.
It was the selfish fan in me, of course. You know what it was? It was just a numbers thing. I was like, I want him to beat Hogan's record, and that's all it was. But yeah,
that's not going to work for me, brother.
Right. So
Hogan politicked in the end till the very end. Hogan's politics,
and he's still politicking.
Yeah, I know. With 14 surgeries, he's still politicking. But yeah, so. I'm glad the way it ended, and then obviously everybody who came out and celebrated. You had LA Knight,
reminiscent of Mania 10.
Yes.
And Dusty. I think when Dusty won, also people are lifting him up too.
Right. Yeah. See, Punk was in there, even though Punk and Cody are really close, which I love that, and the fact that they got to be the last 2 in the Rumble match, and then also like
that was a cool moment.
That was a great moment. Yeah. So there's that. There's the Mania main events. Let's button up all of the Bloodline story.
Did you guys see that footage of Roman hugging Paul at the top?
Yes, I did at the top of the ramp. Yeah. So see, that was caught. You saw that live. I had to see that with like a cell phone footage.
Footage.
Yeah. When you saw that, did you catch that live when it was happening?
I caught it live. I caught it at the stage. And to me, this speaks to the fact that Roman, I think the tribal chief character is done. I think if he comes back, it's going to be a completely different iteration.
Yeah. And there was a Triple H post that he said, when Roman is like, wait till what you see what's next for Roman. He was
they've already posted a footage of Roman working out.
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
He said, I mourned yesterday, but today is day 1. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And then, listen, I love all of that. And I think.
And the guy's also been fighting leukemia too lately. I don't know if you heard that.
That's crazy. That in itself is like,
10 times.
That's also why his reign couldn't last as long as it usually any longer than this. It would have taken a toll on him. He hasn't, even though he's been used sparingly in the last year.
Yeah.
The type of stuff that he's going through just to fight with.
So many physical things too. It's been wild, I think.
And he's lost some weight. I mean, not just from working out, but he's lost some weight. You could see it. Like he's lean out. Yeah.
Well, he takes the oral version of chemo.
Yeah, he does.
Like it's orally ingested.
I want all these guys to be healthy. I know Seth's been working a lot too, bumping like crazy. Like, take a little time off, be with the family. Both have kids. Both of them had kids too. Like, take a little day off. It's okay. This is reset time. We don't need you every week. It's okay.
No, we don't need to see him all the time. Yeah, and then And all angles and fandom aside, I wish both of them, a quick recovery. Same for Punk. I hope Punk is back to 100% in no time.
My father said, take some time off.
Yeah. Okay, so let's button up the bloodline angles on Raw. So.
Well, wait. Let's not go to Raw. Let's finish WrestleMania.
Well, no. I'm talking about bloodline because then we'll.
I know, but we keep bouncing back and forth.
However you gotta do this, it's up. I'm just.
And
I was looking at the stories, but
I know the stories are gonna all move into Raw. Every single last.
Okay, Shiki, you're the boss. You're the boss. You say.
I was gonna say, Shiki, you don't want to mess with me.
Okay.
Real quick, Jimmy and Jay's spot on. We got that off that ramp. That
That was better than their whole match.
No, we all thought that in the arena. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That was I almost feel like they wanted another shot at getting a better spot in, and so that was that. I feel.
How about John Cena's bald spot,
dude? Well, he is married to a Persian, so.
Well, no, but I mean, like they usually do a pretty good job of not getting the angle and exposing it too much on TV. But oh man, that is the one thing about WrestleMania and the great camera work is sometimes it's too good. It caught that bald spot. You can see how much hair that guy is really losing.
I also think about that bald spot. I don't think he minds it. If it's not like he doesn't have the money to get implants. You know what I mean?
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He likes.
It humanizes him too. I think it makes him because Austin Theory did a promo with him for last year's build where he references the bald spot, and John Cena goes, "Yeah, I have a ball." Like he doesn't. He knows.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's not affected by it. Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's go through this.
Let's go through it. So
let's start with there's other championship matches.
Right. What I'd like to say is this. Let's talk about the World Heavyweight title match because we have to admit Seth worked the hardest at this Mania.
I agree.
I feel he essentially did 3 matches, right? Yeah. Essentially, he was in 3. So he finished night 1, 45 minutes, as you said.
Bruised and battered.
Open night 2, and Drew McIntyre is not a soft match. He's kicking his ass.
Hard hitting.
And started with
I don't know if you guys noticed. It was very rough. It felt stiff.
It did feel stiff, yeah. So he basically, he loses that match, and he had a bruise on his eye, crying. Obviously, that's an emotional moment for him.
He got the little. It's weird. Because in the arena around me, maybe it was just because they were older. We were giving him face cheers, and I kept yelling. He took us through the pandemic, which he did, and he never got that moment. So he got the good. He got a mini Mania moment, hugging the wall, as the face. Keep in mind, he's a heel, but he's getting the face treatment. It was very interesting to me.
Did you call it? Did you predict that he would take the title?
I had a feeling that in the last few weeks, I'm Seth isn't walking out. I knew Seth was going to walk out. I had a feeling Drew would either get it or Damian would get involved, but Drew would still get it in some way. I knew Damian would but Drew was still going to get it. And we can see it was only 5 minutes. You could say he was humiliated, but he won. He got it.
Yeah.
Got
it. What'd you think?
The match was. It was a good match. Actually, more than a good match. I really enjoyed the match.
And only 10 minutes.
What I expected it to be.
How much time was it?
10:05 according to Wikipedia. Bell to bell.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, but considering he was injuring a supposedly kayfabe injured Seth Rollins, that made sense. No, it was great. It was better than him just Claymore kicking what I thought. Well, I didn't think that was going to happen.
We thought he was going to win in a squash.
But when it happened, But when it happened, when he Claymore kicked him initially in that moment, I thought it was going to be a squash. I'm like, no. And then they went in and they gave him the 10 minutes. So after that, it was everything that I expected it to be.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the match. I'm glad they didn't go with a squash.
Right.
I like the tease, though. I like the tease of it.
It was a good tease.
The tease was good. But if it would have been more than a tease, then I would have been
But that's great. But that was great storytelling. I also thought Drew would win. I was hoping that Damian wouldn't cash in on that. But I was hoping he would cash in the same manner Seth cashed in 31.
In a triple threat. But still
But it didn't happen. So then when it didn't happen, I was like, it's not going to happen. So then I got excited about Damian doing later.
He's like,
damn,
lingering
dude.
on
The
Punk
set,
for way too long.
the Punk angle on this was beautifully done. I don't know what you guys could hear in the arena, but from
I've gone back and reviewed because I'm like Punk and
Yeah.
commentary. I have to go back and review that.
yeah. So, but I'm assuming you didn't hear any of it, and then they fight, and then you hear Damien's music. But from you've seen it, so like the video, the fact that Punk was just I never thought Punk is gonna get physical. I just thought it was gonna be a verbal spat. Drew goes and gets his flowers and goes
Well,
to
the spat even teased that. The spat even teased that because when they were having it, like you said, if you listen to the commentary,
yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's nodding. He's like,
he's
okay.
nodding. He's like, yeah. He's like, I won. Like he's basically telling. He's like, yeah, you did. And he's like,
What more do you want, Drew? Like,
he says more. What more do you want? He's like,
what was that weird, creepy sauntering he did with the? Remember when he was like a snake? He was like leering on the desk. It was.
he's like, I want a picture. I want to put this in my the wall at home, or not in those words, but basically,
Yeah.
like that. And he's like, he's like, this is my. He's like, why are you doing this? He's like, this is my moment.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it is your moment. Why are you making it about me?
Right.
They teased it the whole time, like. Punk's not going to do anything. He's just going to shake it off. Then the moment he turns him around, he pulls he pulls his leg out from
Done
under him.
beautifully, very good.
Done beautifully, 100%.
The whole brace that we saw since Raw and Chicago, he's been wearing that
And he
brace.
never saw it coming.
No.
Never
He never
thought he
saw
was
it
going to
coming
rip it off.
because the first
Probably
thing
worked
he
great.
did brilliantly. He gets up. He's about to go after Punk, but his back is totally turned, and he takes the briefcase right to the head.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I sat there. I went, I prayed for this.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was masterfully
Damien
done.
Priest got the biggest, he got a big face reaction from him. He's kind of a face turn now, I guess.
No, dude, that's what I'm saying. He was a tweener anyway, but like I always thought Damien, once he cashes in, he's gonna get cheered, unless it was on Cody. But
I also had a feeling when they lost both titles, and we didn't really talk about the ladder match, but when they lost both titles, I'm like, oh, he's doing something.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, if you were paying attention, the entire trajectory of Mania was hinting. Like it was like you had to pay attention to it, and it was like all the multiple angles that these guys were involved in.
That's what makes night one, night two good. You gotta have things connect. You can't just have two separate cards.
And the order of the matches was dictating what was going to happen.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And we talked about that. We were like, it depends where they put the Seth match. Depends where they like that was going to determine what was going to happen later. So
it's the same thing as if you're putting together like an album or a comedy set.
yeah,
You know, putting in order is very important. All the little details matter.
absolutely, yeah, that's true. But when Punk attacked him, I thought for a second like he's cleared, but I don't think he's still cleared. He decided to do that. But I mean, he looks like he's almost there. But
no, he's not cleared because if you notice, even when he hit Drew, he hit him with a brace. He didn't hit him with that arm.
no, but
He's the other arm and hit him with.
Kept it protected. I think.
Yeah. I think it's mostly healed. He's just not cleared. That's where I feel he's.
I love the blow, the callback to Money in the Bank with the.
Yes, he did do that. He did do that to his wife.
He's but like I don't think he's
into Vince. If you remember, he did that to Vince before he left the arena.
He's an anti-hero, basically.
Who, Punk? Yeah.
Punk, yeah.
No, of course. Yeah, Punk is always going to be the anti-hero. But right now he's more of a he's getting cheered like a face.
He's getting cheered like a face, but he's doing heel tactics.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
He's not like the Punk of the summer of Punk. This is not the Punk people want. That we're excited about this Punk, like the more wiser Punk, and like he's like
the Punk that's not here to make friends.
He's here
I'm here to make money.
Exactly. Yeah. So there was that.
One of my favorites, just to go back quickly, because we're on the subject of Punk, but that Raw Chicago 18-minute segment.
Dude,
one of my favorite segments of the year so far.
I loved it. Yeah, it was great. And
who chose you? Say it. What paragon?
Oh yeah, he was trying to get him to say Vince. Yeah. Oh, that's
say his name.
Yeah, right. Only Punk could do something like that.
Yeah, also exactly. Classic at Mania, seeing Punk in a suit.
Yeah. Well, the first time I saw Punk, I think Punk like after being like
he had a full blown on like three-piece suit. He had a breast. he had the vest underneath.
Yeah.
Pre-show. Yeah. He had a blue one, I think, on one of the nights. I think.
Right, he did. No, he was decked out like the nature boy.
He also went to, I don't know if this was reported, he went to the tryouts too. They had Mania tryouts and if he had Philly tryouts for the younger stars.
Oh, did they? I didn't see that. No.
There's a backstage picture of him in a Bret Hart hoodie, and I think he really, we're probably in his last run, whatever you want to call it, Twilight year. I think it's great. He can definitely provide wisdom to new guys, and he likes to work with new guys. You can say what you want about his AEW run. He was always about elevating new talent. So I think if the easiest transition for him is performance center, something coaching, something trying.
Totally. Yeah, he could do that for sure. So, okay. So we got the two heavyweight titles on the men's side. We talked about those.
And we also talked about the USO match.
The USO match.
Yes.
Let's talk about the women's heavyweight women's titles. You had Becky and Rhea. We talked about it briefly.
Great opening.
It was a great match.
Great match.
Yeah.
I thought that
Rhea would win.
No, I actually thought that Becky would win.
Oh.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Obviously, but the way that they did it makes sense. I always say if it makes sense, I have no problem with it. So, and the fact that they still made Becky look strong in defeat, she had to be taken out with a riptide to the turnbuckle and then another riptide to be finished. So she was still in defeat. She was still able to look strong. Right. So I think
she looked strong, very poetic with the kind of a parallel to the Charlotte Ripley match last year too. Both horsemen kind of looked at her when they lost. Charlotte smiled. Becky didn't smile. So maybe that makes me think we get another shot. Maybe you do you do maybe a stipulation match next time. Maybe I don't know, because look, she invoked the name of her daughter. I feel like this feud isn't done.
That's what I thought, because if you're gonna bring someone's daughter into a promo and you still win, like I feel like that means it's not done. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was, I thought it was a great match. I mean, they're pushing Rhea, like, I feel like this is the
great though. She's definitely a face, a new face.
She's definitely a face, despite the fact that she's mommy with Dom and everything. Like even the Dom, like what's hilarious is she's a face, she's getting cheered, and Dom is the biggest heel in the company right now. Like
great to see them next to each other, like that Raw segment. Dom comes out boos, and Rhea comes out nah. Like they have to keep them, like they do slow entrances so that you can hear her cheers. Like people.
Yeah. That's by design. Yeah, for sure. And I feel like the push Rhea's getting right now is what I feel like China deserved, right? And they're kind of like, she's a bigger girl, right? And I feel that this push for Rhea is almost like poetic in that sense, that it's like, I feel like if China was in her prime now, right, rest her soul, like she would be like the perfect opponent for Rhea.
Throwing people around, ragdolling.
Yeah. Like, exactly. So I don't. Anyway, that was what I was thinking when Rhea is on her push right now. And
China would do well in this era, but China also served her purpose. There probably
China wasn't a technician, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
she would have been, though. I think.
I mean,
in this era, she would have been trained.
Would have taught her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
For
not
sure.
like she didn't need to be a technician for a time because there was nobody for her to really utilize those skills.
I mean, she had to squash all the women and
then work with Jericho. She had to work with men just to kind of
And she was Eddie's mamacita. Yeah.
Original mamacita.
It made sense for Rhea to win, even though, like I said, I thought Becky would win. I actually thought Becky would win because of interference. I thought that Ripley would lose because of an ongoing story that still has potential to go on with Liv Morgan and her revenge trajectory.
Yes.
They've been playing that up before Mania, and that's
Has Liv and Rhea had a match? I'm trying to remember. Like once Rhea won the title, have Liv and Rhea had a full singles match?
No, because Liv ended up getting injured.
Injured, yeah. And then she's married to, I don't know how many people know this. She's married to Bo Dallas, aka Taylor Rotunda. So I think she was dealing with that loss as well. Yeah.
By the way, I would be remiss if we don't mention this. the way they immortalized Bray Wyatt in the Hall of Fame. Beautiful.
Amazing. In the documentary, there's a new Bray Wyatt statue. There was a great Bray Wyatt panel at WWE where you can watch the panel. You know, if you watch Mike Rotunda's speech,
Yes.
he gets very emotional. It's
of course. Yeah, and that was the first time we saw Bo. Like, and I think we haven't seen him since he was the old
I do think it's I mean, Braun is still there. You could bring back Rowan. You could do something with Alexa. You could do something with Liv. You could have a window like a Wyatt. You could have.
They were talking about.
They're teasing that with Alexa right now with her with vignettes.
Yeah, and
right, there was a vignette at Raw. I forgot. Yeah.
Right, and the Uncle Howdy stuff. It could easily go on and carry the story forward. So
and they're going to get whoever is part of that faction is getting face reactions immediately.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Bray is going to be a part of that no matter what. Like he's just going to be, because people loved him, man. And the wrestlers loved him, and the people loved him. So he's, and I think that's going to.
An old interview with Bray as Wyndham where they just asked, like, will you ever tag with your brother? And he goes, people have. This is when Bo was still doing the Bo Leaves stuff, where he was kind of a jobber, and Bray's like, people haven't seen what this man can do in the ring. He's I really hope he's world champion. So is that another story to finish? Everybody,
I love that, dude. Exactly, I love that. Yeah. So there was the Rhea Becky match.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just say it was a great way to kick off Mania. I'll leave it at that. I pretty much said what I need to say about that match.
And then on the other side, we had Io and we had the match and Bayley. I thought Bayley would win. I think it was her moment. She hasn't had that moment at Mania, and she deserved it. And I thought it was well put. What did you think of that main event?
I thought it was a great match. I know I've been saying that a lot lately. But I mean,
Mania, the crowd seemed tired on TV.
A little bit. I think they didn't give it they weren't as excited about during the match as they were for others. But again, I think it had to do with like the pacing of the show more or less.
Pacing, yeah, and the spot.
Because honestly, there were some pretty good spots in that match.
Oh, I was on my feet for it, but I know around me they were very quiet.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, it just made sense. I knew Bayley was going to win this one. They were leading up to it. Damage Control had already lost, the night before. So,
yeah.
I don't think that by any means this storyline is over.
No.
But I do think that it was coming to Bayley. It's probably one of the only things left in Bayley's career that she hadn't done was compete for the title in a solo match on WrestleMania.
On WrestleMania and win in a solo match at Mania and win the Royal Rumble leading into that.
Yeah, totally. I'm happy for her, man. She does. I mean, not just because Bayley is from NorCal, but it's
right.
It's more. Yeah. She's but it's not even about that. I just think she was as far as I feel like she always had to be the last one out of the 4 horsewomen to get her chance. I feel like the other.
It used to be Becky until she became 2 belts.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Asha also, did she ever win in a solo? She carried the belt to that Mania with Bianca and lost.
Yeah.
Yes.
Asha's never won at Mania.
Yeah.
No. If you remember.
That's right. That's also, that's a big part of it. I loved it. I loved the women's title matches. Both were great. I thought
they escaped from that. The first attempt at the Rose Plant was great.
Yeah. That was a good.
That was great. Good. Yeah.
A great spot. Yeah.
Great counters in that match. I don't think the crowd was appreciating the counters as much as they could have.
Right. I agree. There was and then she loved. They both love Macho Man, so that I feel like the counter.
Oh, the diving! We stood on our feet for that. It was great.
That was exactly. So that was beautifully done.
Sorry, Shiki, but we love that.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Shiki. Yeah. Well, we hope you forgot. But no. Yeah, those was good. My favorite match of the entire Mania, if I'm being taking the fanboy out of it, just from it got my attention the most, I have to go with Sami Zayn. I
That-
thought the psychology of that match, the way that Kevin Owens returned a favor, right? KO was standing right at Gorilla.
It was so beautiful. Yeah, it was like some Rocky like underdog montage.
Yeah. And so that was beautifully done. And when Gunther did everything he did, and then the only criticism I have is and I'm being nitpicky, is how Sammy like began to kind of convulge to like fight out of this like beatdown, and he started to like essentially hulk up. Yeah, he was like hulking up. Yeah. But that's the only part I was like, that kind
It
of
looked more like convulsing.
It did. It didn't
look a little. It was a little like, whoa, what are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't look. Yeah, it didn't look powerful. It just looked. Yeah, it just looked.
Whatever he did though, like listen, we can nitpick it all we want.
Yeah.
It got the necessary pop.
Oh yeah.
And the stadium didn't care about convulsing. They were on his side.
Right.
Yeah, I would say next to the main events, that was the most, for me, emotionally, the psychological, the pacing of they really, between all, if you look at the build from the Raws, where he was losing to Bronson Reed, getting torn up, he lost to Drew 3-4 weeks before that too. Yeah. You did not think, they really made you not think he was going to win. Like they really swerved you, but they really stacked the deck against him. And
that's true.
Till the very end of that match, you thought Gunther was going to take his head off.
No, for sure.
The shots to the wife watching, he's like, you're going to disappoint your wife.
Yeah. I mean, when he started doing that, I was like, okay, Sammy's going to win.
I mean, then I got more confidence.
He's done that to other people's opponents before, like Chad Gable, and he still won.
That's true.
That was part of his character.
That's true, but Sammy's different, I feel.
I don't think that Sammy was so much different than the event was different.
Sure.
If this would have happened at like a SummerSlam, I think Sammy would have lost.
I think it's Mania. And Mania and Philly, underdog, Rocky, you need that kind of Rocky type film.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, they used a lot of movie analogies in these storylines. Did you predict it?
The Sami Zayn will win? Yeah, I told you.
You did, yeah.
I will say this. Dave Meltzer, kiss my ass. That's a 5-star match. That was a 5-star match.
What did he? I don't even care.
I don't know what he gave it, and I don't give a shit. Like, he can fight me over it. Dave Meltzer, that's a 5-star match.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, because the psychology matters. It's not just about the execution.
Everything was in that match.
Right, everything was in it, yeah.
You got all the technical spots. You got all the Gunther spots. You got the brawling. You got everything. You got the story. Again, Gunther is really good. Walter, Gunther, whatever you want to call him. Again, he's been in this business forever. He's really good at making a lot out of these little touches in the way he presents himself shine and flourish.
He's a very smart wrestler. He's a very smart. He's
smarter, not harder, for sure.
Exactly. He's 100%. Yeah.
I love the fact that you can never predict which finisher Gunther is going to use.
Yes, that's true.
He always finishes you with something different.
Right.
Like one of his 4 finishes.
Yeah.
And then Sammy brought back the El Generico move. He brought back the old
the brainbuster off the
brainbuster.
Yes. That's true. Yeah. That's again, good writing, man. I'll take that over like just two great wrestlers going at it. I thought the writing matters so much. So the other match that I was actually shocked at the results was the triple threat for the US title. Okay. So there was a lot of predictions that I got incorrectly, but I wasn't surprised. This one I was surprised that Logan kept the title. He remained US champion. Not only remained US champion, he remained US champion against 2 former heavyweight champions, right? It's like KO. I mean, everybody wanted Logan to lose, and he still won, So to me, that was a bit of a surprise. So
I was looking at it from, he lost to Seth last year. He's chicken shit heel, whatever dipshit heel, but he needs his reign of terror to continue. And I think, look, I'd rather have him than near the main event scene. I'd rather keep him on with the U.S. title, let him elevate that title a little bit. It's fine. It gets people talking. Listen, both Randy and Kevin don't need wins right now. They've been able to do a lot just without titles. Look how many main events Kevin Owens has had without having the Universal Champion. So to me, it's okay that they, I thought it was a good showcase for both of them. And I want that ECW KO Mania shirt. I don't know why that shirt is not available. That design.
No, that's true.
Both of them are at the twilight of their careers too.
Yeah.
Like they're coming towards the end. They gotta. I'm not saying that they gotta go and lose every match, but it's good for them to put over younger talent. Logan Paul was prior at this time last year. He was he had more losses than wins.
Yeah.
So they really needed to build him as a credible heel, even though he was a sneaky heel, to make him a legitimate character. Obviously, the branding and his reach outside the WWE audience plays a factor in him promoting, or representing the company with the title and other places. Right. It made sense for him to stay champion. I feel like he'll elevate the title a little bit more, and then somewhere down the road, his loss will be used to put somebody over.
Exactly. There's still unfinished business with Ricochet from the SummerSlam match that they announced.
What about Samantha Irvin? Like, she was great. How did people? I know she was getting a lot of cheers.
You could tell her. I go back and watch some of those reels of her like announcing the big moments. Like, to me, she's up there with some of the best announcers ever.
I think the reason for that is she's so pure. She's just pure. She feels it, like genuinely feels it. Like
she was crying when she did the Cody.
Yeah, when the Cody won, she was like legitimately fanning out. Yeah, it was great.
Which is fine. This is wrestling. This isn't UFC.
No, exactly, 100%, 100%. Okay, the only other match I can think of that needs to be discussed because of the people involved is L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
And AJ Styles.
What the USO match should have been. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Those guys look like they really wanted to kill each other. That's what the Usos should have been.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was such a great angle. They had the thing at the press conference, which my friend...
That was beautiful. I love that.
The whole
my friend Kevin Kellum was actually interviewing LA Knight when the chair... he got hit in the shins with the chair, my friend.
Oh, really?
The motivation angle was great, too.
That's true. The fight in the press conference there, I thought the way they did that and they let him go and the fact that it didn't feel like a WWE backstage fight.
No, it felt intense. It felt like two guys.
It felt real. It felt almost real. And I think that they were throwing in some real. I mean, AJ's nose got busted open.
Yes,
and that was not planned. That was definitely.
I think, you want to look. It's Mania season. There aren't a ton of big singles matches on this card that weren't for any sort of title. It was to me it was an intense feud, but I'm glad. Again, LA Knight he didn't need a tag team win. He didn't need a ladder match win. He needed a big singles win. That was his first Mania match. How insane is it?
I know.
A big singles win. I did not mind this with the one sponsorship. I didn't mind. I didn't care for the Dude Wipes ads. I didn't care for the American Home Shield. But Slim Jim with LA Knight makes sense. He's in the commercials. Right. They're a product associated. When you think of wrestling, you think of Slim Jim. So I don't.
Which almost canceled once the whole Vince situation happened.
That's what escalated.
Irony with the Slim Jim ads.
What?
Yeah.
This guy, like LA Knight, is about to get his leg pounded into the the pole.
Yeah.
By AJ Styles, and the pole says "snap" into it.
Yeah.
yeah. Right. Do you think that was on? I don't think that was. I think that was a coincidence. But
even if it was a coincidence, it's a funny one.
No, it's great. It's a good one.
Yeah. Someone did a good job with the rigging.
yeah.
I don't know why in my section the crowd was mad. So apparently there was some lighting issues. I didn't notice it on my side. We were just like looking at the ring and we were into it. We loved it.
I heard about the lighting issues, but I didn't see any on my end when I was watching it.
I'm glad it wasn't noticeable from the home viewer perspective.
No, yeah, I didn't notice anything. But yeah, I love that match. I thought LA Knight was going to win, and it happened. He needed the push. It seems like you also agree that
I agree he needed the win. I like AJ's new theme, though. Maybe AJ can be a good heel, going forward.
I don't think it's over, though.
No, I don't think it's over because of the nature of that presser. That presser fight, I felt, did more to keep this going than the actual match. But yeah, bottom line, I thought...
They're going to do a backlash coming up. I don't see the harm in it.
Which is in 3 weeks, by the way.
Yeah, in 3 weeks. I don't see
brand.
the harm in keeping this feud going one more. Give him a steel cage match or something. Like
Yeah, 100%.
you don't need to start a new feud with him right now.
And
He's
don't
got-
call it WrestleMania Backlash, please. Just call it Backlash.
I think they got rid of that, if I'm not mistaken, because they didn't do it last year either. I mean, again, good on Triple H for turning these like the B shows, B pay-per-views into these like big global events.
We're almost at a point where we don't have like the 4 main ones anymore, right? I mean, they have they still have that like, you know,
Big Four feel. Those are usually
big 4 feel because of the names and the history, but
history.
yeah. But like Money in the Bank is I think is one of the big.
They're also not going to be. They don't have an event in America until SummerSlam. All the other events are global, which I think is cool.
It's great. It's tour the world, man. Much more tiring on the wrestlers, which I can understand, but
Well,
more of a reason that they should have breaks.
How do you feel? Well, I'm going to ask you, Prateek. I know how Hedge feels, even though he will tell the world how he feels about this this tag team turmoil match that split up the tag titles.
Oh yeah, I was for it.
Go ahead, Serge.
I thought it was. I thought it was time. I think I think each brand needs its own tag titles, and it's for like the whole undisputed. I mean, by the way, they're starting to get away from calling it the undisputed heavyweight champion.
Right now, it's just WWE.
They're going back to WWE champion and heavyweight champion, just like it was 15 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So the same thing will go with the tag titles. Whatever they do with the main titles, with the heavyweight titles, they go with the tag titles.
I'd like to see some new designs for sure.
Yes, new designs. I'm cool with the way they split them up. I didn't care for Austin Theory and Walter to Waller effect.
You already know how I feel about those two guys.
Yeah, I know you don't care for them. But
that's kind of the point. I think is give the heels, because they're gonna be on SmackDown. You can build pretty deadly
heels though. Like it's like this really cheesy heel.
Well, Waller is. I don't think Theory is. Theory isn't funny to me. But Waller.
Well, Theory's a waste of time.
Yeah. I mean, Theory definitely struck out, man. At some point, he almost was like. He was almost the chosen one.
Who chose you? Say his name for Theory too.
Exactly right.
Theory's chosen guy. Yeah.
But I did like Awesome Truth getting the titles.
Oh, that was beautiful, and
you had to give them the win in some capacity.
And that was Truth's first Mania win.
Yeah.
First, I think main not kickoff show match. I don't think he's done much.
Right.
First legitimate title other than the 24/7 title.
Exactly. Yeah. He might have been U.S. champion once, maybe, but
I know.
And the guy can still go. He does know some good. He knows how to wrestle technically. They just don't use him in that capacity. So it's been great seeing him get physical. It's been great seeing him throw real punches, real emotions. With the Judgment Day stuff has been it doesn't feel like hokey comedy. It feels like actually funny.
It's great. It's
the one bit where he's they're crowding him and they're near the announce table and he looks at the camera and goes, go to break, and then and then Finn goes, we'll break you. The timing of it is perfect. Yeah.
No, I think so too. I agree. The whole Judgment Day stuff is hilarious, and I hope
and it keeps the feud going with them too, because eventually they're going to get it, or maybe, which is. I don't know. Are we getting into predictions yet, or kind of where it's going?
Let's go into Raw and then
let's wrap this up. We have to. We can't do this without wrapping it up with Jade Cargill's debut.
Jade Cargill, okay.
Cargill's debut, great. I mean, all women of color, very progressive match. Kind of, Vince's pet project. Not Vince, sorry. Triple H's pet projects put into one match.
I wasn't crazy about that part of it necessarily. Only because it felt like they just did it quickly. Like they didn't take their time with building that properly. That's my only criticism of that. Otherwise, yeah, I'm so happy.
It was there to serve the purpose. You're not going to put Jade in a singles yet. You just want to make her look strong.
Oh no, for sure. But I mean, I'm saying get the trio together, but give it more feeling. Give it more reason.
It felt slapped together, just like with the Rey Mysterio. That felt slapped together.
Andrade, yeah, that was another one. Yeah,
but good spots in that.
Yeah, good spots, but again, it was just good to see Andrade back in that match.
Yeah.
That was probably the highlight for me is just seeing Andrade, and I always like it when Dominic Mysterio,
Yeah.
doesn't go over.
The crowd loved obviously seeing I like Jason Kelsey. I listened to his podcast a little bit. And I like the Amazon documentary. So nice to see him get physical. And he famously wore a luchador mask when he was getting drunk. Which I thought was a good callback. I like that.
Right. No, that's true.
Actually, there's only one. Now that I think of it, there is one WrestleMania match that I was not crazy about, and I think it's the only one.
Usos?
The Usos, like I said, I liked it. It just wasn't what I thought it would be.
Okay.
I thought it was
I think
underwhelming.
we expected more.
But but it was still a solid match.
I think I know
A
where
match
you're going.
that wasn't. I almost forgot just because it's so forgettable.
Oh, the street fight.
It was the street fight. The Street Profits and Bobby Lashley and
It wasn't. I mean, the surprise of Bubba was great too. They really did a lot to make the crowd into it, and I think a lot of that was having Snoop Dogg on commentary, having
Bubba there. Yeah,
a lot of extras just to kind of because but I've seen Bobby Lashley not get big reactions in arenas.
But I just feel like, even though I know they're trying, I just feel like Karrion Kross has run his course. They can't do anything with him. And AOP has just gotten boring.
Yeah. They're not. It's not.
AOP should just be like either make them like silent killers and just run them through like monsters, or I don't know, use them in developmental and NXT and just build guys. Faces.
I agree with that.
What else do you do? I don't know.
There was nothing intriguing about that. Like nothing excited me about that match.
You sure about that? I thought you were always intrigued by Scarlett.
Scarlett's
his girl next to Liv.
You are a single man, so
I am a single man.
There's not
the table that broke early, that was great. We love that.
Yeah.
The crowd in the arena laughed. They like because again it's a gimmick match. If you notice, the dreaded number 2 spot that Bubba talks about, the dreaded number 2 spot on Mania, were gimmick matches on both nights. First night was a ladder, second night was street fight. They kind of pasted I like the ordering of the matches very well.
Right. I agree. Yeah. I guess other than Bayley's match, I felt that could have gotten a better spot. But But anyway,
now we can move on.
So Raw after Mania, Cody opens and here comes Rock. I honestly it was cringy.
I agree with the crowd. This is awkward.
This was so awkward. And then, you know what it did? I felt like that was a written thing for Cody and Rock to do. And it was probably, I don't know whose idea it was, but I felt bad for Cody because it kind of diminished. It diminished his title. Like it felt like Roman never gave his title to anyone else to hold, right? I mean, other than Heyman. But Heyman was like he was like his wise man.
The guy, yeah.
But you and Rock just beat the shit out of each other like less than 48 hours ago. For Rock to just come out and almost be like, I'm happy for you, like you beat the tribal chief. It's like and maybe they're working me and working us, or I'll say me because I'm the one that's clearly frustrated. But it was like maybe they're setting something up and for Roman and Rock to finally face off, and I think this idea of Rock saying, "Hey, I've never held that title," right? Like they do the switcheroo, the People's Championship title getting switched to.
It's clear it really did diminish the title because I share annoyance with you.
Yeah,
over that because you're asking to hold a title that is the biggest title in the company that it feels something. And then Cody goes, only if you let me hold that one, which is worthless. It has no meaning other than
Muhammad
to be symbolic as an award, but
it's an award title. It's not a title.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the FTW title, But
it's to signify that Muhammad Ali said, yes, you can use my name. I thought it was just something for the Hall of Fame, just like a tribute. I didn't think it would be used in story.
This is what I thought of it. After thinking about it, like 24 hours later, I just feel like, okay, well, even Triple H is not going to get every angle correct, right? He's gonna have mistakes, and that's okay.
Listen, they came off the biggest night that they had in
100%. Yeah,
it's going to be really hard to follow that up one night later. So they can be afforded a few.
I mean, I thought it was a great Raw. I'm not diminishing the Raw.
I will say this though. Despite the fact that the promo diminished the feeling of the title, I do like that People's title. Looking at it visually, that thing pops. I would not mind having a replica and having The Rock sign that.
Yeah,
you can sell. You can get it. It's available.
It's going to be extremely expensive, like probably like $700, I bet.
A WWE product that isn't like cheap.
No, I know, but I mean, like, I think like the signed titles usually roughly go around for like $650 or $700,
Right.
Yeah.
depending on who signed it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think despite that cringe moment, Rock's going off into the sunset, and he said when he comes back, he's coming for Cody. I think they're setting up
He
SummerSlam.
kept saying that though. The Rock has to go away now.
Yeah.
The Rock has to go away now. Then get the fuck
I didn't
out
like
there.
that. It kind of cheapened the. It like you said, clunky is a good word. I expected a few more surprises on this Mania, Raw after Mania.
Yeah. What was
I was
it? Was it
expecting-
one?
One under Triple H's.
Did you have a specific one that you were expecting that didn't
I
happen?
thought maybe Tama Tonga or Jacob Fatu would show, because they are signed. They would do something. They would be Rock would bring them up maybe as they're like my henchmen guys. They stick around while he's gone, something like that.
Yeah, maybe. But also, Rock's daughter is the GM of NXT. They don't talk about that much, but
that's not.
Anyway. But she was on Raw. She was on Raw. With the whole the all three GMs were in the room.
That's also another issue that I had. I told Pez off the air. I'll say it on air. The Rock is definitely taking his liberties. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a lot of what they're doing with him, but he's still taking his liberties. For one, your daughter being the GM of NXT, why? What purpose? Like, what does it do to serve to elevate the company when she has no? They don't even like mention her as the Rock's daughter that often either.
No,
like they'll make reference to it.
It's a silent push.
There's no.
She is with the company. She does wrestle in NXT, so I think they're just trying to give her something to do with.
And then well, like it's like
you're saying it's politicking.
Well, no, there's a lot of politicking on there. Think about this. His grandmother is in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
If you really look back into the history of what his grandmother did for wrestling. She took it over from her husband for 4 or 5 years. It was in Hawaii. The promotion didn't do relatively great. In fact, it folded.
I mean, they talk about it on Young Rock.
And she was actually
they mention a lot in Young Rock.
Involved in a lot of dirty shit.
Yeah.
Which is something that they do.
A wrestling promoter did dirty shit?
But I'm just saying it's and I mean, like, if you want to compare them to other promoters of the era, I think part of it has to do with, it being The Rock's relative and also being a female in wrestling, which
I think female woman of color is rare. But yeah, I think that's part.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't want to, throw dirt on The Rock's family member's name, any of them, but I'm just saying, like, it's funny that this stuff is happening, and then Nia Jax is all of a sudden getting a real big push.
Yeah.
Hey, she wasn't on Mania. If she had done something on Mania, or if they made. I was afraid at some point they were going to make the Becky Rhea a three-way.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no, don't do that.
Well, that was the thing that I was cool with, but I mean, it wouldn't have made sense to put her on Mania. I still think that, I mean, The Rock has definitely pushed because being on the board, but I think that there are certain things that Triple H does put his foot down on and be like, no,
for sure,
really doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we're not doing this.
And I think Rock has given the reins to Triple H for that. Like he's not trying to step on, he's not stepping on trips.
But he is, he's taking a little bit of
the stuff that involved himself.
It's like working in a company. You're not like necessarily abusing your power at this point, but you are taking advantage of the perks.
Yeah. But it also worked. Again, this is why I think that documentary about the behind the scenes of the lead up to Mania is so important to watch, because I feel like it's going to tell us, it's going to answer a lot of these questions about the politics in the back. But yeah, I thought Raw was cool. It was wasn't it another like record breaking gate that they apparently it was like sold out 20,000 filled up.
So.
Yeah. So they're definitely
not better than 192,000 people.
MSG in '83.
Right. Yeah.
What happened with the Persian Club, Shiki? Did you ever get those Persian clubs back?
Oh yeah.
I got my Persian club back.
Yeah.
And I beat the fuck out of the jabroni with them.
Listen, you're so mad at The Rock. He took.
No, Rock is my family.
Yeah, he used to
I
babysit.
give him the name Jabroni,
Yeah, I
but
know.
you know, Rock, you are people champion, but I am the real champion. I was
Real.
WWF champion, WWF tag champion with that cheap jabroni son of a bitch Nicola. Okay, he don't pay the doorman $2. And then I tell you in the locker room, you're gonna be great. You just sit down, shut your mouth, don't be jabroni. One day you'll be champion, and you are champion. But remember, I'll make you the fucking champion.
You're right. Yeah. Everything Sheik says is gospel, guys.
You
Rock
said,
is the final boss, and Sheik is the fucking boss.
yeah, that's it.
hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh man. That's the only thing I missed from Mania was there was no what versus yeah. I wanted that to kind of happen, but it would have been too.
That
I
maybe
was cool, but I will say this. I feel like some of those promos went way too long, and then some of the matches, and I understand why they did it, so that's why I'm not trying to,
Right.
say too much negative about it.
No.
But there were like a lot of NXT debuts
Sure,
on Raw,
sure. But that's normal. That's
like
happens all the time.
Dragunov
Yeah.
and what's her name? What's the NXT champion's name over the female?
Yeah.
Roxanne.
Yeah.
It's Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne Perez. Yes.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
I actually like Ilya Dragunov. I think he might be ready for something on the main roster, but Roxanne Perez still needs work to me.
Mhm.
I just feel like, like you said, it was cool. I understand why they did it, but they could have benefited from like a debut or a big
Yeah.
sign,
Big
or
return.
return something.
It's the
that
first
they
Raw
usually
after
do on the night
Mania.
after.
Yeah. It's the
Well, they
first
did
Raw
another
after
package.
Mania. Yeah.
They did another package for Sheamus. He's coming back. They keep doing that with Sheamus, I feel. Like he keeps coming back, doing a little push, and then they write him off, and then he has to come back. I don't even know if this was injury related or this time,
Oh,
but
he got injured.
he got injured. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but yeah, so that's happening. Sheamus is coming back. But my favorite moment from Raw was actually after Raw went off the air with the whole Punk and Jay and then Punk getting them signed, and then he threw the shoe with his supposedly injured arm. So and he even like showed it. He's like, look, it's good. So I don't know. I'm hopeful that Punk can be ready. And he even said, next time I'm in Philly, I'll be in my boots. So I think he's closer to returning to in-ring action than
Let's
we think.
see. That'd be great if it
Pull off
happens.
John Cena at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. John Cena. Yeah, right.
You know the story behind that, right? Like he was rehabbing like 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right,
heard
right,
that.
right.
And then they were like, how do we do this? The shock value of the return. Okay, I won't be as physical. So if you notice, he was very safe, protected in that.
Sure. No, that's true. Okay, let's finish up with predictions.
By the way, before the predictions, last thing I want to talk about, because it's relevant, because we're following up on storylines. What did you think of the Drew McIntyre promo on Raw, where he basically goes off and vents about what happened to him on WrestleMania?
I don't feel bad for him at all because
No, I mean, but how did you feel about like the delivery?
I think
Even
he's doing
though
some of his best.
it went on a little long, I enjoyed it. It was like he was real. He made it seem like he was genuinely frustrated with what happened.
Great.
Yeah, but he's great. Drew he's come a long way. He's great. I love what
He wasn't delivering promos like this last year,
No,
and he had time on the
and
mic.
that's what I'm saying.
Clearly somebody's been like
Coaching.
working with him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I still give
Or
credit.
he's getting less restrictions now.
Right. That's also true. So I feel
He still gave props to Seth Rollins, though. He did.
He did.
He's like, we had a moment. He's like,
and Cody did too for Roman. They both paid their respects to the former champ.
but then that bastard Damian Priest came in and cashed in. He's like, but none of that would have happened without that CM Punk.
But that's where he lost me because Punk wasn't going to do anything until he got involved with him.
But the thing is, you gotta understand, you as a viewer on TV are looking at it that way. But if this was happening to you in real life, you would want to point the finger at that guy.
Right, especially as a sleazebag like heel that you're like, it's never your fault. It's always yeah. All right, that's fair. I'll buy that. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about a few predictions going into this next year. I have a few ideas. I think Rock's promo from Raw is obviously going to be a Cody and Rock. We're going to have a match, and I think that match is going to be at SummerSlam, and it'll be for the title. And I think, and I'll go further. I think Rock beats Cody. He takes the title, and that's going to lead into a Roman return. And Roman is going to be the ultimate good guy this time. There probably won't be any Heyman involved, and it'll just be the big change in his character and personality. And he's going to be pissed at The Rock, and it's going to tie back to the fact that before Mania, he, like the couple weeks before, he asked Rock to acknowledge him, right? And Rock did acknowledge him, but it almost wasn't believable. And the fact that Rock, being the final boss, and then on Raw, never gave flowers to the Roman Reigns. Cody did. Cody gave his flowers to Roman Reigns for being a great champ. Rock just came out and he was just talking about himself and wanting to hold that title. So it was almost like, what was all of the bloodline about, right?
Well, Rock played into that well. Rock actually acknowledged him, and like you said, it didn't look like he did it with all his, like he actually meant it with all his heart.
Yeah.
But he said he did it because it was family.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to go against family. But now you're looking to aftermath of Mania.
Right.
I'm just going off your story.
Yeah. So I say this. I said.
But I'm saying, like, but basically the way that works now is the Rock, the Roman has now lost.
Yep.
And The Rock never lost to Cody, and he never gave up that championship.
And he mentioned it.
So
yeah,
you're saying that it'll flip now. It'll be like, well, The Rock may win the title, and then he's be like, well, you lost the title. I've got the title now. I've even got this new bloodline here.
Yeah.
You acknowledge me.
Right. No, for sure.
That's where you're going.
I'm going with that, but it's not going to be acknowledged. It might be a callback.
But like you're following that guy.
I do think Rock is the heel, and Roman needs to vanquish Rock and something.
Yeah, I give it a thumbs up. Yeah, there you go. But yeah,
and maybe that's how you work Fatu and how.
Okay, so yeah, tell me what you think is going to happen.
I mean, when I heard Tama Tonga, who's King Haku's son, and King Haku was a big part of Rock's childhood.
He was at Mania too. He was at the Hall of Fame.
Was at the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
So you have these two young Samoans. You could start a new Samoan faction with that, and then, maybe in some capacity, Roman and Cody have to team up. Against.
Yeah. Roman and Cody teaming up. I could totally see that. I think.
Keep in mind, Rock debuted on the Survivor Series, so I do think something screwy or fishy would happen at Survivor Series. I could see Cody holding it till Survivor Series, and that's when you do Rock Cody, or you do something screwy to Cody to where he loses. But I don't see Cody losing clean to the Rock. There's going to be some sort of schmoz finish. Money in the Bank is in July. Money in the Bank is before SummerSlam. Does some Money in the Bank factor play into it?
Maybe that's true. That is a factor. But I think the chapter of Bloodline is now over. I think
Cody needs a fresh challenge.
Cody needs a fresh challenge, and I think, and he's going to get that. He's probably going. I think he's going to defend this Universal title against an array of superstars. LA Knight being one.
Keep the
LA Knight for sure being one. No,
I don't know. Keep him away. Do you want to do face for early? That you say?
It doesn't have to be the first one.
I think LA Knight's going to get a mid-card title before he ever gets back in the world picture.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think LA Knight's going to be the first opponent. I think what's going to happen is there are more natural opponents that make more sense right now.
Make more sense.
Yeah. I mean, Seth is supposedly only out for a month. That's what I read. So he's
I
only,
heard Roman will come back at SummerSlam.
yeah. So Roman isn't being advertised until the week of SummerSlam. So there's going to be potentially a situation there unless something
You
changes.
do Seth, Roman, Cody triple threat.
Triple threat. I'm getting kind of like, I kind of want triple threats to have more meaning. I feel like triple threats have become just kind of like, all right, put them in a triple threat.
They become the John Laurinaitis match.
Right. It's a
Tonight on Raw, we're gonna have a triple threat match
Yeah.
for the WWE World Championship.
Laurinaitis, you got bigger
shit,
words,
not
man.
shit in my mouth, like because he's
People power.
Yeah.
Like literally, that I tell Pedro all the time.
People
That
power.
was his solution for every single problem that ever happened on Raw. If
number
there was
one
a problem,
contenders.
you book a triple threat match.
Yeah. Well, he was busy, getting busy.
He was
So,
having his
yeah.
own triple threat match.
Yeah.
Right,
Right.
double team. Handy. No, those were handy. Those were 3 stages of hell handicap.
Yeah. And
Handicap.
if he didn't do it, he would have been fired. but anyway, yeah, I think a Seth Cody match would make sense. Seth doesn't have a title now, so it would I think that would be a natural switch over to Seth and Cody. LA Knight we talked about. I think other big names that deserve a push. I think Shinsuke and Cody have stories that still could go unresolved. There's that. I love Shinsuke. Heel Shinsuke is one of my
I
favorite
do
heels.
not know if they're going to push Shinsuke, especially after last night. That guy took a clean loss to Dragunov, and then
I mean, that was putting him over, right? That was putting.
I mean, like he's Shinsuke's taken a couple losses lately that
I know.
haven't been putting him in the main event picture. I just don't, and he was just in the main event picture, so I don't.
Lashley's a face right now, but I think Lashley would be a good stopgap opponent too.
Lashley would be good.
You need to get to SummerSlam. So what do you do?
You need to get to SummerSlam.
What would work is Randy Orton.
Randy Orton is good. Yeah,
Randy needs to turn for. That's why I truly believe you have Randy turn whenever Cody loses the title. It's partially due to a Randy Orton turn, and then you lead. And to me, that's the other thing you could do because you have to think about what does Cody do now. If it's Rock Roman next year at SummerSlam, what's the other at Mania? What's the other big Cody match you could do at Mania? The next logical one is either Punk or Orton. And there's his
now is Punk heel? Is Punk heel versus Cody? You think, or is Punk staying?
Yeah, Punk.
Because I don't think it's gonna be hard to turn Punk heel right now.
Not yet. It takes time. Punk needs to go into his first Mania main event as a face. You do steps.
100%. I agree with that.
But to me,
I think
Orton is a good Mania match because who did Orton face in a triple threat at Mania 27? Cody and Legacy.
Yeah. That's
you
right.
Cody Orton, you say that for Mania. Cody finally vanquishes the evil Orton.
Right. I could see that too.
He asked him that when he came back. Remember, are we going to have a problem?
Right.
And he's like, "You stay out of my way."
Yeah. No, that's true. So that's the Cody side of things. What about on the other side? Damian Priest is a champ.
They already announced the contender or through the match of Raw, right? It's Uso.
Oh yeah. But how long is Damian gonna stay champion?
I think Drew gets a shot either. I think that's where because Clash of the Champions is in Scotland, where he's from.
So he'll win.
And that's in June. So I think Drew wins it by June. Or Drew gets a shot at least.
Yeah. And then there's the Punk factor too, right? With Drew. So there's got to be
another thing. Do you do Punk Drew? I like the idea of Punk facing Drew in Scotland, and you do.
What I love about this Drew Punk rivalry is that when Punk came back, I wanted to see Seth Punk go at it and just destroy each other because I thought that storyline was happening when Punk was still in AEW, right? You know what I mean? Like the Seth and Punk rivalry was real. That was a real thing. The whole Drew side of it kind of, I mean, credit to Drew. He's won me over with his great promos. And the fact that he prayed for him to get it. Like all of that stuff was like, it's hard for me to get worked at this age, but it kind of got me like, I'm like, no, fuck you, dude. Like Punk needs to, get you back for that.
But they're blurring the lines. They're making it real. They're making you believe. again.
I loved it. I love it. That's what we want. That's what we want. So definitely Punk, I think, is closer to returning. So I feel there's gonna be that. Punk and Drew have to finish that. Where that goes, I don't know. I feel maybe by what's the pay-per-view after Backlash?
I
Or
think
the
in June. I think it's going to be Clash of the Castle in June.
Okay, so then that's probably where maybe Punk joins in on that match. And maybe it's Damian, Punk, and again, I just said I hate triple threats, but maybe it's Damian.
Maybe.
It could be. It could be. What are your thoughts? What are some predictions? Not spoilers, just predictions.
I'll make a prediction for the U.S. title.
Okay.
I think somewhere down the line, I can't predict where they're going to book it yet. I think it's too soon, but I think maybe towards, I don't know, the next one would be SummerSlam, right? The next major, one of the big
Well,
four.
Money in the Bank is coming up before that, but yeah.
Yeah, Money in the Bank. I'm more concerned. I'm making a U.S. title prediction. I'm not really making a world title prediction. There is only one moron that didn't pick to go after a world title. So, and we'll not talk about that.
Well, think about where SummerSlam is. It's in Cleveland, home to the current U.S. title holder, Logan.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah, but I still, I think that we'll see a match booked at that point between Logan Paul and LA Knight.
Because we've not gotten that yet. That's a good SummerSlam match to me.
The
And their
I don't
style.
think
the
it's-
social media star
really
versus the
good.
mega star.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't need a belt though. That's the only thing.
LA? Yeah, he does.
No, I'm saying that Logan LA is a Mania without belt.
Oh, right.
That's a money match without. So I don't know. Does Logan lose the belt before? Do you really want him to lose before a big SummerSlam? I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it happens until SummerSlam.
Do you think his feud with KO and Orton is done?
I don't think it's gonna last that much longer.
Mm,
Because where could they go with it, really?
yeah.
I mean, the fact that they had to
I mean, he's a part-timer ultimately, so that's
yeah. Well, the fact that they had to use two established stars in a triple threat match with him, it's like it just. I feel like it had to have been. No, I think even either one of those guys could have carried it to a good WrestleMania match. It's just like
yeah.
looking forward or where you could take the story. I don't see anything that could happen with Logan Paul with that. I do think that if they wanted to push the story further, it could lead into a heel turn by Randy Orton on Kevin Owens, since they've been buddy for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I actually okay. Wait, I want to hear from you, Prateek. What are some predictions you have outside with this angle or in general with any of these U.S. Intercontinental title, U.S. title? Where do you think these are going to be heading into?
Yeah,
the
I
next...
think I could see Owens get one more single shot against Logan, but I do see Owens ultimately coming out loss. Or
Yeah.
Orton gets the big single match because who took the pinfall in the Mania match?
Right.
Owens.
Right.
But Owens still hates Logan with a passion, so probably what's going to happen is they're going to put Owens on a different brand to keep them
Well,
separate.
the draft is coming up. That's the other thing they were talking about.
I think you do Randy Orton and Logan. You give that a singles match. You either do it in these remaining months or you do it at the pay per view, the next one, France, because you need it's a European premium live event. You do need some big money matches, and you don't want to start brand new feuds right away.
No.
Things. So
I'm gonna go out on a limb and predict another one. I'm just off. I'm really going out there this one because everything would have to line up right. But I think WrestleMania next year, you're gonna see Mommy versus Jade Cargill.
Or Bianca. That's still the money match that people have.
Yeah.
I think Bianca comes before that, but
well, I think Bianca and Jade Cargill will feud before that, and I think the winner of that is going to be the one that goes to Mania. But you think Jade is ready to be pushed?
Either that, like I said, Bianca beats her before WrestleMania, and you get a Jade Cargill Bianca Belair WrestleMania match. But I do think that Jade Cargill will be in the main event of WrestleMania next year.
Okay.
Assuming that she continues to do well with crowd reactions and
the fundamentals. I mean, we don't know. We haven't seen her in a singles yet, so we have just.
Yeah, the problem that they've said that they've had with her, she's having problems memorizing match sequences.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Any other predictions? I do think Damian. I would like to see Damian hold on to it for a while, but there's just so much money in Drew being the title holder and Punk and Drew for that heavyweight championship. So
that's gotta be I
don't want Damian to be a placeholder champion because he has a good look. He got a great reaction. I think the Judgment Day needs some reign of terror right now. Like they can say, hey, I also think they're gonna get those Raw titles. I had a thought that the Miz and Truth would lose the titles on Raw and they go back. Because I do think there's something to Judgment Day being this like, hey, we have all the titles.
Right. And the only I agree with you, but the only reason they didn't do that, I think, is it was just the night after, or it was like the Monday after.
So that's coming. That's coming though, and this time it'll be Finn and Dominic.
Right.
You don't want to give Damian 2 titles like that.
No, for sure, yeah.
And JD doesn't want to carry anything.
yeah.
Or you don't want JD to carry.
I don't like JD. But yeah,
I think Bronson Reed's gonna get a push also because he's been having a good showing lately.
He also won the
Andre the Giant. He needs a Triple H guy. Triple H specifically grabbed him from New Japan or nowhere.
Right. Okay. Final thoughts, like it's the Jerry Springer show. What do you? Any final thoughts as far as like what you want to see or what you like in general? You can go out of WWE if you want with the young fucks if you want to talk about that.
Not on this show.
Not on this show. Cool. That's how I like it. Shiki, you.
I mean, I will give thoughts, but just not on them on this show.
For sure. Yeah.
I like the direction that the company's going in. Hopefully, it's sustainable.
Yeah.
And I think it is. Like me, I'm just looking forward to seeing more of what WWE does under Paul Levesque's creative vision. We have to get used to it because, I mean, everyone's still people are still calling him Triple H, but they make it an emphasis now to make sure it's Paul Levesque. Paul, you know, like it's like they want us to forget he was Triple H, which is going to be really hard to do. But
how can you
executive and
yeah.
But yeah, that and I hope CM Punk gets his WrestleMania moment.
I 100% agree with that.
He needs his WrestleMania moment, whether it's with Drew, whether it's with Seth. I do think at some point though he needs to retire. So, and part of me was like, if they don't do Chicago Mania at 41, well, they can't do it at 41 because there's no stadium, but maybe 42. So you have Punk headline Mania 41, and then 42 he retires, and maybe that's how he retires. He puts over Seth finally. That's how he.
Oh, that's 2-year plan for that. That's
putting over Seth. That's gonna be that'll be.
He's gonna put over Seth. I do think
that's gonna be a big of him because that's gonna show. I think if he does that,
I think that was part of why
show people that of what his character is really like.
Yeah,
and it's gonna basically dispel all the bullshit that's been out there about this man.
No, that's true.
There's also something to. This is bizarre storytelling, but Punk wins the title, but somehow Drew gets Money in the Bank, and you see Drew spoil Punk's title run.
So they resumed that feud later. That could be.
I prayed for this.
No, I'm loving it.
Punk doesn't need it. It'd be good for him to get that moment like Drew did, but Punk doesn't need to carry around a title. He's done that already. He's Lesnar. He is the Lesnar of this roster right now. He's the attraction.
Yes.
Even
though he's injured right now, he does need to come in and wrestle every.
Did you notice this WrestleMania moment? A final thought that they actually several times, especially Paul Heyman in his acceptance speech, mentioned Brock Lesnar. And they did not shy away from his name this whole weekend. So I don't know. Is there a chance that we get Lesnar back on WWE TV in some form of capacity?
Maybe. If Mania's in Minneapolis, then maybe.
I don't think. I think I don't think Lesnar is interested in coming back because he was a Vince guy. So it's like
But the thing is, if that's not what I'm alluding to. I mean, like, yes, I get it. He may never come back for another match. But if he was involved with this stuff, then he was going to get erased from WWE TV, and they
yeah,
were already working on. You know what they did on the video game, by the way?
he's not. Yeah,
He's in there as someone you can play against in storyline because he's a part of. It was too
He's
late
not
to
a
take
playable
him out of the
character
game,
anymore.
but he's not a playable character.
no,
You can
Really?
only. I'm sure if they were to later on find out that he was, that I mean he would get acquitted of whatever he is accused of, then there's something in the game. The game developers could probably make him a DLC again
yeah,
because
Yeah.
his character and his motions, he's in the game. They didn't take him out because it was too late. Like the whole thing's based on 40 years of WrestleMania, so you can play against him in those moments.
No showcase moments.
Take him as a playable
right,
character.
right, yeah, yeah, man. It's intriguing stuff. I think he's done with WWE. At least, even I think even if he's acquitted, he was. If you guys recall, when Vince was let go or he resigned the first time,
Brock Lesnar left immediately.
exactly, he left immediately.
He left
And
in the middle of a show.
right, he left in the middle of a show. Like he's not like Brock has never like shied away from like doing what he wants to do
I'm good.
ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not gonna sacrifice, right? He's not gonna be like, I'll give this a chance.
He
I'm not
doesn't
saying,
need the money. That's the first thing.
yeah, he's yeah, and he's good. Like he doesn't need money. So
Right, but I'm just talking from like a merchant because they still make money off the guy's likeness
yeah.
and so
But I'm
forth.
saying like
So-
for Brock, he's thinking about for him, it's gotta be intriguing to him.
but that's what I'm saying. He's all about the money. We're not talking about in wrestling at this point. We're talking about the use of his likeness and image and his name. And if you do that, if he's acquitted, he's not going to say no because he doesn't have to show up to any of these events to wrestle.
Yeah.
But he can generate profits from his merch
Right.
and everything else continuing to sell. I don't think he says no to that.
Yeah. Then we'll see. Well, then you can make that same argument for Austin. If it makes sense, then he would come back too. But
Well, Austin's merch already sells there. That's my point. He's not. No one says you can't sell a 316
No,
shirt
I mean,
at a
yeah,
WrestleMania.
right.
That's what I'm getting at. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
we're not forget the in-ring involvement. We might you might very well see him retire from the ring. He may never step into a ring
Right.
again. But like, does that mean you're not going to sell any more Suplex City shirts?
Yeah.
Or any like stream any
Suplex City.
Brock matches?
yeah,
Suplex
Suplex shitty. Yeah,
pee because I guess the allegation is you want a peeing tape.
right. Yeah.
Suplex-
Oh my God, that's funny. I just have one more question, and then I'm ready to wrap this up. But
Yeah.
was Shane McMahon anywhere around at Mania?
No, we did
He
not
wasn't.
see.
He
His
wasn't.
his son is football player for IU in Indiana.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious because they were it was about to be the first Mania without any McMahon involvement until Stephanie showed up. But right? That was the whole thing.
The McMahons will always be synonymous with Mania, so I think Stephanie. It's good that she's back because she can be the face for a while.
No, I agree. I'm just saying that like that's proof Stephanie vouching for the Paul Levesque era was her basically saying, fuck what Vince did. And she was like,
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
and so, but what I'm saying is, I think Shane is also on the same boat as Stephanie. Like I think he left the company initially back in like 2007.
I
Right?
think some of it is he was disgusted by Vince's stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was not.
But it's harder to make that. I mean, you're right. You're both right. I'm saying it's harder to make that case for a male in the public eye. They'll be like,
Yeah.
yeah, he probably let his old man do whatever, even though he didn't approve it. But like, when you look at Stephanie, you almost look at it like she could have been a victim.
Yeah. Well, there's that promo that naturally is like exactly what's happening that she cut like 20 years ago on her dad in the locker room. She's like, I'm tired of you and all that. I mean, it started trending once the allegations came out. But yeah, I'm a Shane fan, so I'm hoping that his last moment on WWT was not him tearing his quad and just fucking leaving. You know what I mean? Like that was That's my only thing. I just want him to have a proper, even if he's not going to continue, I want him to have a proper. I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. That's for sure. I think Shane should be in the Hall of Fame, and eventually Stephanie. But yeah, man. Any other thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
I mean, I just say, Heyman said this in his speech about like just enjoy the product right now, enjoy the industry. The wrestling economy is so good right now. There are. I don't look at it as tribalism. I don't look at it as AEW versus this company, WWE versus this company. There are people I like that are in all the companies, so I look at it that way. Like Mustafa Ali is in TNA right now. Big Mustafa Ali fan, like
yeah.
I love Nick Nemeth in TNA, so I look at it as like who I'm a fan of, and wherever company they're in, there's whatever company they're in. I got to see Speedball Mike Bailey a bunch of times. I'm kind of into him. There's rumors he might go to WWE. Like so. Enjoy the product for what it is. Cut all this tribalism shit out. Enjoy different people. You can have people you don't like. I agree. And Web, I don't like the people you mentioned. I like other people in that company though. I'm a big Samoa Joe fan. I think Samoa Joe should have that title for much longer.
Absolutely. I don't talk down on AEW, dude. I watch the product.
Yeah.
I watch who I like.
Yeah, exactly. You watch what you like.
But they do need a revamp in the front office. Like whatever is happening with the.
They need a new booker.
And
I'll say this, and I'll say I don't think
booker who's actually not a friend, but actually a booker.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll say this, Tony Khan. I don't think anybody will dispute this that knows him personally, but I believe what they say. Tony Khan is a nice guy, really passionate about the business, but he's just not good at booking.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
No. And I agree, and I think Tony Khan to really get AEW back on track, he's got to get the EVPs to get out of that position. No, I'm serious, and I'm not being a mark for Punk or whatever by saying that. I'm saying that because it's in the pudding. It's the only people were legitimately concerned that they were gonna try to beat Sting and Darby Allin at his retirement match, right? Like that was actually a concern. So that tells me all I need to know about the culture that they've created over there.
Well, look, they blamed it on Punk. Punk left. It's still toxic.
There's still some problems there that need to be worked out. I think Jericho needs to figure out what's going on there. There seems to be some problems with him too.
Yeah.
Well, the guy signed a 10-year contract, remember, and his skills are diminishing every day. I mean, I respect the man for everything he's done, but he's just not over anymore, and he can't do what he does.
He can't reinvent himself anymore. It's done.
The reinvention is stopped.
Yeah.
I had a suggestion for Tony Khan. Maybe you could do what TNA fucked up with, and you can hire Scott D'Amore. That'd be a good booker.
Yeah.
Scott did a lot of cool things. There are rumors why he left. It's unfortunate situation because he really did a lot for that company, raising the pay scale for TNA stars. And those Rebellion, those last few pay-per-views were great. It's unfortunate though.
It is. Yeah. Where are you gonna be, man? Plug some of your shows. Where you're.
I'm in Chicago and then Indianapolis. I go back on the road Thursday and Friday, so it's back on the road for a bit, but kind of out of the Midwest mostly. Plan is to be back in LA mid-May, early June for 4 weeks, and figure things out from there.
Oh, we're definitely getting together then, for sure.
Definitely. At Prateek Comedy on Instagram, prateekcomedy.com. I got my special out, Nick and Sheila's Kid. I do a podcast with my parents where we review movies called Cinerama with Mama and Papa. That's on my YouTube channel. It's on my Linktree, and all this cool stuff. Yeah.
Love it. I love it. I got a glimpse of that podcast with your parents. That's super awesome that you're doing that.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
Web, plug away.
Well, I'm gonna plug away for both of us.
Okay, do it.
Oh yeah.
Other than the fact that you know where to find him, which is
Pej the Maniac on all social media platforms. Follow me on Instagram where I post all my shows that are coming up. I just did the Dime Bar tonight before this episode recording. And I think I know what you're about to say.
And yes, you'll find me in Weapon XMC in all social media platforms. And other than that, me and Pej will be in New York City in the next week.
Oh, great.
So, if you're out in New York City and you happen to see us, make sure you come and say hello.
Come say hello. I'm performing at a few clubs out there. My first time in New York doing comedy, so I'm excited about that. We're going to shoot some content as well over there.
Probably a music video for me, as
Yeah.
well as looking to finalize. Once I do, I'll put it on social media. But I'm looking to finalize my show out in Brooklyn, New York, as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
so-
Yeah. So good things are happening. Grateful for all of it. You audience members supporting us, we appreciate you. Spread the word. Legend of Wrestling podcast. We're just getting started. With every story that ends, a better one begins. So we are Legend of Wrestling podcast. Prateek, he's always going to be part of this show. He's always welcome here. Always, whenever you want to get on, just let us know.
Thanks.
Absolutely, man. Weapon X, MC, Pej the Maniac, Prateek, comedy. We will catch you on the next one.
Because you suck, Teddy Bears. You suck, Dusty Rose. You suck, Randy Savage. You suck, Bill Boss. You